Okay, I think we'll start and hope that others will join us. But I just want to repeat what I said earlier and thank you all for your patience with us. Best laid plans often go awry when you're relying on technology. I suspect Elon Musk has something to do with all of this. I blame him for most things at the moment. But just thank you very much. And again, I want to repeat my thanks to the team at Children in Wales who have hosted this and who have done everything they could to get you all on and showed a lot of calmness in an area of quite a bit of stress from my point of view, but it's all good. So I want to welcome you all to this event and just say how excited we are to be involved in this first event involving 4 parenting organisations across the 4 nations of the United Kingdom. My name is Kuli Yasuma and I am Interim Chief Executive of Parenting Focus. Before we launch into this, just some housekeeping. If you could keep your camera and your microphone off, we're in a different platform than we thought we'd be, so I don't think we have as much control over that. So would be great if we can, if you could keep them off during the presentations. We will be having a Q&A at the end where you'll be able to ask all the presenters any question you want, and me as well, actually, if it's relevant for me as the chair of the event. And we'll, because there's so many of you, we'll be using the Q&A function or the chat function. If you could just put your question in the chat, it'll be monitored as it comes up, as you think about it during whichever presentation. We'll be monitoring them, and then I'll field them towards the end. The webinar is being recorded and we will share it with you after the event, Children in Wales, and it will be available on Children in Wales website after the event, and particularly for those who haven't been able to join because of the technical issues that we've had this morning. So without further ado, I just again want to welcome you all to this, and we're very excited to have the first 4 nations event in the form of this webinar on what is Parenting Week. And the theme of Parenting Week this week is for every family, recognizing the diversity of that families have, and recognizing that there's no one ideal family, and that a family is simply a place where a child or children are cared for, are nourished and cherished and looked after by one or more adults. You see there an outline of the webinar. You'll have presentations from my organisation, Parenting Focus, from Parenting Across Scotland, Parent Kind in England, and Parent Connect in Wales, who will talk to you about the work that's been going on with parents and families across each of the jurisdiction. You'll hear about how all of our organisations are very much children's rights organisations, recognising that parents are the best advocates and usually provide the best place for children to be cared for, and they're the best advocates for their children's rights. And so working with parents and working with children goes hand in hand as a children's rights endeavour. But also working with parents is very different and needs to be quite distinct from the work with children and young people. As I've said, I apologise because I'm going all over and poor Anna's trying to keep up with where I'm at with the slides. The theme for Parenting Week is for every family, and that's what this is about. And by looking after parents and by tending to family support, we are ensuring the best outcome for our children. And parents' voice is incredibly important in understanding what is going on in families. It's not instead of children's voices. It's not more important than the voice of children and young people, but it complements the voice of children and young people. And in Parenting Focus, we're looking at how to develop a model, looking at child participation model, but how to develop a model that goes hand in hand with that. So without further ado, and mindful of the time, I'm going to pass you over to our first speaker, and I'm a little bit biased. We're starting on a high note, a little bit biased because it's Emma Hitchin, who is the Senior Participation Research Officer here at Parenting Focus, and the organisation we represent has been working in Northern Ireland with parents for the last 45 years. So, Emma, over to you, and I'm going to keep you to time for 10 minutes. So thank you, Emma.
Yes, please. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. As Killa said, my name is Emma Hitchin, and I'm the Senior Participation and Research Officer for Parenting Focus. Parenting Focus is an organisation in Northern Ireland. Apologies, I'm just having a wee bit of problem turning there we go, my slides, in line with all the rest of the technical issues we've had this morning. But Parenting Focus is an organisation which was established in 1979 in Northern Ireland, really as a response to the need for parents to have somewhere to turn to navigate the parenting journey. So we have changed and adapted many times across the last 45 years to meet the needs of the parents and families that we're supporting. Our vision is of a society where parenting is valued, parent voices are heard, and where every family is given the support they need. Our mission is to ensure that parents have access to timely support and information to guide them through that parenting journey. So Parenting Focus is dedicated to supporting families across Northern Ireland by offering a variety of resources, programmes and initiatives tailored specifically to the needs of each parent and each family. Our mission is to empower families, strengthen parental involvement and foster positive family dynamics through tailored, accessible and timely support that meets the needs of each individual family, and to engage with parents to ensure that their voice is heard at a strategic level. So our key services to do this is through our parenting programmes. We offer a range of evidence-based workshops and programmes to equip parents with the tools that they need to navigate the challenges of parenting. These include many topics such as child development, managing behaviour, fostering emotional well-being, the power of the parent-child relationship, and creating a supporting and loving environment at home through use of authoritative parenting style. So this includes many programmes that target specific issues such as Odyssey Parenting Your Teen and how to navigate your way through the teen years and the challenges that brings, and other programmes such as Walking on Eggshells, which targets child-to-parent violence and aggression in the home. We also run specific initiatives such as DADS programmes, which focus on supporting fathers in their parenting journey. Through events, peer support groups and tailored programmes specifically for fathers, we address the unique challenges addressed by dads and help them strengthen their relationship with their children. We also provide a service working with separated parents, and especially dads, and help them navigate that journey so that they provide the best outcomes for their children. We run a specific programme for this called Parent in the Park. We also have a Parenting Focus support line, which is a free and confidential service designed to offer parents and caregivers direct access to services, guidance and emotional support. Whether families are facing challenges in relation to their children's behaviour, sleep routines or family dynamics, our trained team is there to listen and provide helpful solutions for each individual situation. The support line staff connect with parents with practical resources, with signposting to other more specialised organisations, and with a compassionate ear to help them navigate the ups and downs of parenting. During regular hours, it serves as a lifeline for parents who are wanting to access support, reassurance and expert advice. We also provide practitioner education and workshops at Parenting Focus, working with professionals such as educators, social workers and healthcare practitioners, and providing them with training and resources to enhance their ability to support parents and children. These workshops cover topics like child development, family engagement, mental health and effective communication strategies. This is tailored to the needs of each different professional group and aims to equip the practitioners with the tools and knowledge to foster positive outcomes for the families they work with. We offer up-to-date evidence-based practices, and Parenting Focus ensures that all practitioners are well prepared to support the parents and parents are working with in a meaningful way. We also have an employee wellbeing service where we work with different employers to ensure that they are providing support for their parent employees, that there is a work-life balance and that they are able to work to the best of their ability with these structures in the workplace. My role within Parent in Focus is to provide the parental engagement, research and advocacy. So Parent in Focus conducts regular surveys, such as the Big Parenting Survey, to identify and highlight trends, needs and concerns within the parenting community here in Northern Ireland. We use this data to advocate for better services, policies and support from government bodies, ensuring that the parent's voice is heard in all of our policy decisions. We actively engage with parents in consultations through focus groups and surveys, gathering their insights on key issues that affect them on a daily basis, such as education, childcare and family support. Recent examples of this include responding to the Department of Education's school uniform policy consultation, and we're currently contributing to the programme for government consultation. Parent Focus is committed to ensuring that every parent has access to resources and support that they need to thrive. Whether this is through practical advice, advocating on their behalf, we're here to champion and celebrate families in all their forms, which is pertinent during this Parenting Week. So our parental engagement model is based on 3 principles. They're on your screen at the minute. So hearing the parent's voice at a strategic and policy level is essential for shaping effective, relevant and responsive services that truly meet the needs of our families. Parents have first-hand experiences with the challenges and realities of raising children, making them valuable contributors to discussions around education, healthcare, childcare and social services. By actively involving parents in policy making, we ensure that their insights and perspectives guide decisions that impact their children's lives, resulting in more informed and practical solutions. Furthermore, by involving parents in the processes, this enhances accountability, fosters trust between our parents and policymakers, and creates policies that make a more equitable and inclusive society for all of our parents. Ultimately, when parents' voices are heard, policies are better equipped to support families, leading to stronger communities and improved outcomes for all of our children. At Parent in Focus, we are committed to a children's rights-based approach that places the best interests of the child at the heart of everything we do. Our work is grounded in trauma-informed practice, ensuring that our engagement with parents and families is sensitive to the impact of trauma, especially off the back of 30 years of conflict in Northern Ireland. And we aim to create a safe and a supportive environment and an inclusive environment so that every parent feels that they can voice their view. We use the Lundy model of participation as a framework for engaging parents and children in this decision making, ensuring their voices are heard, their perspectives are respected, and they are active participants in shaping the services that affect them. This model emphasises space, voice, audience, and influence, making sure that participation is meaningful and leads to real change. Through this holistic approach, we empower families while protecting and promoting children's rights in all areas of our work, recognising that parents are the main conduit for children accessing their rights. Some of our recent work includes our Big Parenting Survey, which was published in April 2024. You'll see some of the findings on the screen. The Big Parenting Survey is a biannual research survey which gathers insights from parents across Northern Ireland to understand the key issues and challenges they face. In 2024, over 1,100 parents responded to our survey and several important findings emerged. Unfortunately, there were nothing new. These are all issues we have seen before. Childcare affordability and accessibility remains a top concern for our parents here in Northern Ireland, with many of them reporting difficulties in securing high-quality, affordable childcare options that suit the needs of their family. Mental health and well-being of both parents and children, again, were highlighted as an issue that was facing parents and exacerbated due to financial pressures and long waiting lists for health and social care services. The current cost of living crisis and the challenges that bring, particularly the rising cost of essentials, is putting additional strain on family budgets, impacting parents' ability to provide for their children. Additionally, many parents of children with special educational needs express their frustration over delays in adequate support and timely services. These findings underline the need for targeted interventions, policy change, and greater investment in services that support our families. The findings from the Big Parenting Survey play a crucial role in informing and shaping policies and practice that affect families in Northern Ireland. After analysing the data, we published a comprehensive report that highlighted key trends, challenges and needs identified by parents. These insights are shared with policymakers, educators and community organisations to advocate for evidence-based improvements in areas such as childcare, education, health service and parental support initiatives, which were highlighted by parents as their main areas of need. Additionally, we engage with stakeholders to foster discussions around the findings, ensuring that the voice of parents is heard in the decision-making process. By utilising the survey results, we aim to drive meaningful change that enhances the quality of life for families, ultimately contributing to a brighter future for all of our children. Parent Focus, moving on now is actually to some of the work that we're currently undertaking with our Department of Education. Parent Focus are delighted to be involved in the Department of Education's RAISE programme, which is funded by the Shared Island Fund and has allocated £17 million to implement place-based intervention across 15 localities in Northern Ireland. This initiative aims to address the specific needs of communities by providing a strategy specific to each locality and community. The RAISE programme is an initiative designed to improve educational attainment in children and young people from the most disadvantaged backgrounds in our society. It focuses on fostering positive parental engagement and creating supportive environments that empower families to take an active role in their children's education. Parent Focus will lead on the parental engagement, which will play a vital role in the RAISE programme by ensuring there is true co-design and the intervention in each locality will really meet the needs of the families. Through this engagement, we will utilise the Lundy model of participation as our framework, whilst ensuring that the voice of the children is integral to the process. The Lundy model emphasises the importance of listening to children and valuing their perspectives as active participants in their own lives. Using the Lundy model will ensure that the parent's voice is a source of influence and will be relayed to parents to inform their own engagement. Parent Focus are delighted to be involved in this innovative approach to interventions and are pleased to see parents as equal partners in the planning stages. Our priorities for our organisation, which I'm sure will be seen across...
Can I ask you to wrap it up, please?
Yes, sorry. This is my last slide. Seen across the last... So this is, I'm sure this will be seen across the 4 nations, but we want to address key issues such as poverty, special educational needs, health and social care, waiting lists, childcare and school absence. And this is vital for Parent Focus because these factors significantly impact the wellbeing and development of our children and their families. Parent Focus is dedicated to supporting parents and caregivers in navigating the challenges they face and understand these interconnected issues allow us to advocate effectively for systemic change that will promote equity and access to services for all families. By highlighting the detrimental effects of poverty on things such as educational attainment and ensuring children with special educational needs receive the support they need, tackling barriers posed by health and social care, waiting lists and insufficient childcare, we aim to empower families and create a more inclusive environment. By prioritising these concerns, Parent Focus strives to enhance the quality of life for all families and ensure that each child has the opportunity to thrive. That is me, Culla, maybe slightly over time.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Emma. Thank you so much. And I appreciate that was a lot to get through. So now I'm pleased to introduce Amy Woodhouse, who's Chief Executive of Parenting Across Scotland, which is a membership organisation whose vision is a Scotland where all parents and carers are valued and supported to give their children the best possible start in life. So over to you, Amy.
Thanks, Culla. Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm delighted to be part of this 4 Nations webinar. I'm just going to share my slides. Hopefully this works. This is the nervous part while we're waiting for it to kick in. Is that working?
Yes, it is. Well, I can certainly see it, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Great. I shall be brief since we've only got 10 minutes, but yes. Thanks, Culla, for outlining our vision, Parenting Across Scotland, and we started as a group of organisations supporting families that wanted a space to come together and campaign. So we do that by listening to parents and carers to understand their priorities and use what they tell us to influence legislation and national policy. We share good practices through our newsletter and our website and through webinars and events and for families with decision makers. So here are our members. They all support families experiencing particular disadvantages, perhaps because they're affected by poverty, alcohol, drugs, or employment, or they have children with disabilities. And they provide us with a lot of intelligence about the reality of parents' lives and the reality of organisations that are trying to do their best to support parents as well. It's a very challenging context for third sector organisations in Scotland at the moment with funding issues. I suspect it's the same for many other parts of the UK as well, Northern Ireland. Very aware that not everybody on the call might be that familiar with the context in Scotland and the devolved powers that the Scottish Parliament has. So these include things like education, health and social services, housing, justice and policing, sport and the arts, and some aspects of benefits. So we really have the opportunity many aspects of families' lives in Scotland at the Scottish Parliament. And it's fair to say there's been quite a raft of policy and legislation over the last 10 years aimed to improve children's lives. I'm not going to go through all of that. So you'll be pleased to know I've highlighted some key ones there. And collectively, they're designed, for example, to do things like increase entitlements to childcare, to reduce levels of child poverty, to outlaw physical chastisement of children. The promise is designed to radically reform the care system, and we have just this year incorporated quite a process, but we got there. We're now in the implementation phase, and as was mentioned earlier, we're another parenting organisation and see that incorporation of the UNCRC has great opportunities to improve life for families in which we're really here to talk about the views and experiences of the bits of policy and legislation, and at Parenting Across Scotland. I wanted to highlight our parenting evidence review, which was a new thing for us this year. So earlier this year, we commissioned a agency called The Lines Between to pull together all the research that was published about parents and carers in Scotland last year. And we asked them to particularly focus on research where parents shared their views and lived experience, so qualitative research in essence. And they found 28 reports published in 1 year, which cumulatively brought together the views of over 4,000 parents and carers. I've just seen something in the chat saying that they're struggling to hear me. Do I need to move a bit closer possibly to the microphone?
It's breaking up, Amy. It's breaking up. So although your slides are very comprehensive, so people may be able to follow, but I think your connection may not be great.
Oh. Yeah,
somebody said maybe turn the camera
okay, I'll do that. Yeah, that might make a difference.
Yeah.
I'm in the Dumfries countryside at the moment, so apologies. I shall hopefully you'll be able to hear enough for it to make sense. Yes, so the parenting evidence review covered the experiences of over 4,000 parents and from at least 26 of the 32 local authorities in Scotland. And as you can see from the slide, quite a lot of different types of families included in by the diversity of the different perspectives that were included in research in Scotland last year. The themes that emerged were almost identical to what was mentioned in the previous presentation by Emma. So poverty, child education and care were the key themes that emerged. Public debt, child maintenance, early learning, mental health, breastfeeding, focus on particularly on dads, on adoption breakdown, on mother performers, so that's mothers involved in the arts. And so I suppose the first important thing to say is that when you start looking for research about parents and carers, you actually find that there's quite a lot out there. And we found that there was bringing it together into one place to make sure that we were all aware of it, and we found out what it said cumulatively about the lives of parents and and Scotland. Some evidence that was cross-UK, but we weren't able to include it in our review because it didn't isolate the particular Scottish data. So it really doesn't actually, even our review, cover everything that was related to Scottish parents last year. Key findings, and I'll put this in the direct words of parents and carers, so you can see things in the. Okay, so poverty was by far the biggest theme to come out of the review. We heard about parents having to make terrible choices because of not having enough to live on, to have to choose between paying the bills or paying the rent and buying food for the children. No parent should be having to make those types of choices, especially not in a country that's as wealthy as Scotland is. Scotland, a lot of attention has been paid on the Scottish Child Payment, which has undoubtedly provided essential help to families, but it has not done enough to radically reduce child poverty to the level that we want it to, and many families are still experiencing dire circumstances. And the quality of housing stock was an area that was really prominent in the review, and that too many families are living in houses that are damp, that are unsafe, or just aren't at the standard that they should be. Theme was health, and in terms of the findings of health, we heard about parents talking about their own health and also the health of their children, and often having to battle in order to get the support that they needed for their children, whether they had disabilities or other additional support needs. And this could be true throughout childhood, but also particularly in the transition to adult services, where this was highlighted as being a particularly stressful time, parents having to navigate new systems, and also systems that perhaps weren't as holistic as children's services were, even though children's services had problems and challenges of their own. And then the third big theme was around education and childcare. In terms of childcare, flexibility was highlighted as a big issue. And we heard both sides of the story, for example, where costs and lack of we weren't able to make use of it, and the benefits that go along with childcare in terms of being able to work. In terms of schools, we heard about schools not being as inclusive for parents as they should be, for example, when English wasn't a parent's first language, for example. But we also heard some positive examples as well, where workplaces enabled parents to get involved in the lives of their children and their schooling too, through providing that flexibility to families. That second quote is from a dad who particularly benefited from the flexibility of work. So a few key points that emerged overall. First is the power of first-person testimony. The quotes that we have included in the review are incredibly powerful and really bring to life the key policy areas that we're all campaigning on in a very, very direct way. We really reflected quite a lot on the back of it about how we do justice to what parents and carers tell us. Given that there were 28 research reports published last year, we shouldn't be running and rushing to do primary research as the first instance and doing new research all the time. We really need to make sure that we're doing the justice by what parents and carers told us, so that we're not asking them to repeat themselves. And a lot of the challenges that were raised in the review are very, very interconnected. So poverty, mental health, physical health, education and childcare, they all interface with each other. And if we're thinking about how we respond to them, then we really need holistic cross-portfolio policy and legislation that takes an approach and recognises the complexity of parents and families' lives. As I said at the start, for us in Scotland, UNCRC incorporation provides a really great opportunity for us to achieve that. We need to start framing these issues as children's human rights issues, recognising that most, though not all by any means, most children live within the context of wider families who need support if children are to realise their rights to things like an adequate standard of living, health, education and cultural activities. many of these issues we can address at a Scottish Government level and do things about in Scotland, but not all, and some are relevant indeed across the UK, and some powers are still held reserved at Westminster. And if we're thinking about things like the inadequacies of the universal credit or the child maintenance system, for example, these are things where there's opportunities for us to come together across the four nations and share our intelligence and share our campaigning might to try and make change for these areas that affect families, probably across the whole of the four nations. So yes, that was all I was going to say. Here are my contact details. Please the website, and I'm looking forward to the discussion that follows from this. Thank you. Hopefully the hearing part was okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, it was in and out, but your slides were really comprehensive, and we will be sharing all the slides after the event. But yes, thanks for that, Amy. And the notion of working as across the four nations for UK-wide issues, it would be very, very welcome, and we can see some changes. So moving over to England now, and introducing Kirsty Yates from Parentkind, who a lot of you will know work around parental engagement, particularly in the education system. So over to you, Kirsty.
Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
When we say everybody, I say me, so that's fine.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's lovely to be here today to represent parents in England. I'm the research manager at Parentkind. In terms of who Parentkind is, we were established in 1956 by a group of parents who were passionate about parental involvement in their child's learning, but felt that they needed a voice at national as well as local level. And Parentkind exists to empower all with parental or educational responsibility to improve the life chances of children, young people, and their communities. So what do? We give those with a parenting role a voice in education. We invest substantial resources in representing parent views on their child's learning to government, charities, unions, and other organisations. We're also the network of PTA fundraisers across the UK. We bring specialist fundraising support and advice to parent volunteers so that every school can benefit from a successful PTA. And then we also have a schools programme, which includes parental engagement training and our Blueprint for Parent-Friendly Schools, which is a framework to help schools provide really good parental engagement and involvement. In terms of our work around parent voice, which is what the focus of this presentation is about, we're very much evidence-led, and we've undertaken research amongst parents on a wide range of issues related to education for a number of years. Our flagship piece of research is our National Parent Survey, formerly our Annual Parent Survey. It includes topics such as parental participation, accountability, mental health, curriculum, cost of living, and lots of other different topics. Some of the topics stay the same each year. Other topics we change depending on how relevant they are at that particular point in time. We also undertake a lot of other ad hoc surveys with parents on a wide range of topics, including things like financial education, RSE, a curriculum and assessment, tutoring, smartphones, school attendance, and behaviour. Parentkind has supported and contributed to the all-party parliamentary group, the APPG, for parental participation in education at Westminster, who met regularly to hear evidence and discuss solutions to the barriers for parents involving and engaging in school life and education. We are currently in the process of establishing a new APPG for parents in Westminster. So some of our current work that we're involved with, well, we have regular meetings with organisations like the Department for Education, Ofsted, Ofqual, some of the teaching unions like the NEU, NAHT, the Chartered College of Teaching. Most recently, we have been involved in Ofsted's The Big Listen and the Department for Education's review of curriculum and assessment. So in terms of Ofsted's The Big Listen, Parent Kind's evidence was cited several times in Ofsted's response to The Big Listen, which is brilliant. And in terms of the Department for Education's current review of the curriculum and assessment, we've already met with the team a couple of times. We've presented data from parents about what they think of the current curriculum and assessment approach and what they would like to see, the changes that they would like to see. So that is ongoing over the next couple of months as well. So we're in contact with those, representing what parents' views are on curriculum and assessment. During the election campaign, we did some research with parents about their priorities, and we presented this to the new Secretary of State when she started in her role in July. We have a 6-point plan for parents. The first point is, don't be afraid to say children should enjoy school. Too many children don't enjoy school, particularly as they get older. We should commit to listening to parents when decisions are made. All too often, parents are sometimes seen as an afterthought, and their voices aren't taken into account when policies are developed. And so we are pushing for far more parental involvement right at the beginning of any sort of policy development. The cost of school must be part of a national approach to poverty. We've already heard from speakers in Scotland and Northern Ireland that poverty is such a big concern amongst parents, and I've got a slide later on which flags that up as well. The cost of school is too expensive for a percentage of parents, and they are really struggling. 1 in 5 parents are struggling with the cost of sending their child to school. It must be part of a national approach to poverty. We want to support new parent PTAs in our poorest areas. So we already support. We have 13,000 members across the UK, PTAs who we provide advice, resources and benefits to help them raise funds for their school and to also engage parents in school life. We want to support PTAs in some of the poorest areas as well, where there are not as many PTAs currently. Ofsted needs to report back on parental engagement. We all know how important it is to the success of a child's education, and so we would like to see Ofsted formalising this more than they have currently. And then we want the government to announce a national parental participation strategy. So I've touched on it already. We run a national parent survey, and the latest one for 2024 came out last week. It's a UK-wide survey, but we have a big sample of 5,500 parents, which means that we are able to provide nation level data to people who are interested in it. And actually all of that data, all the data tables are actually available on our website. I'm going to focus specifically on the England results here. In terms of parents' biggest challenges, we asked them an open question. What is your biggest challenge as a parent? And whilst a few people said, I don't have any challenges, there were, thousands of responses that we then coded. In terms of priority, the pressures on parents' time, that came out top. So parents feeling that they were being pulled in too many directions and didn't have enough time to spend time with their children doing fun things, that there were too many other priorities that were taking up too much of their time. Their challenge for many parents, their challenge was being a good parent and raising well-rounded children, and a fear that they weren't doing that. Financial pressures came out really high as well. The health, happiness and safety of their children was a challenge, a priority for parents. Also, sometimes it was actually their own health and well-being, because they understood that they need to be in a really good place themselves in order to be the best parent that they can. Children's screen time and access to social media was a massive challenge for lots of parents, and children's experiences at school also came out as a big challenge for a number of parents. And I just wanted to highlight just a handful of the bits of data that are in the report. As I said, this is all England only data. So more than a quarter of parents are worried about affording their rent or mortgage. More than half of parents would like to spend more time doing learning activities as a family. 22% of parents rate their mental health as poor or very poor. And I noticed in the Northern Ireland parenting survey, they had a similar level, slightly lower, and that is supported by the National Parent Survey as well. In England, there's a higher level of poor mental health amongst parents. 15% of parents say their child feels unsafe at school. More than half of parents have or would consider their child missing school for a holiday, and 15% of parents say that their child spends at least 7 hours a day on a screen on a typical school day. So this is not time that they're spending at school, this is outside of school. So they're typically spending more time on a screen outside of school than they actually do spend time in school. So as I said, that was a really quick summary. There's lots more data on the website nationalparentsurvey.com. Our own website is parentkind.org.uk, and these are my contact details. So I will stop sharing my screen and say thank you very much for your time. And hand back.
Thank you so much, Kirsty. And so far, you get the prize for sticking on time. So I'm very, very grateful to you for that. And that was interesting. And the common themes that are emerging in jurisdictions is both reassuring and frustrating that we know what needs to be done. But that's it. We know what needs to be done. So we're now going to our final speaker before we go into the photo competition. And that's Fataha Ali, who is from Children in Wales. So over to you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Bore da, as we say in Wales. So today I'm going to, I'm just going to share again because
we could see that.
Yeah, can you see that?
Yeah, well, not
okay,
now,
brilliant.
But we could before. Yeah, we can see that. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so my name is Fataha Ali, and I work in Wales, and I work on a project called the Parents Connect Wales project. So today I'm going to talk about the work we've been doing in Wales around parents' voice and participation. And as you'll see, is very similar to the work being done in the other 3 nations as well. So before I start, I'll just tell you a little bit about the organisation that I work for. So it's called Children in Wales. We're a membership organisation, and it's for individuals and organisations interested in improving the lives of children, young people and families in Wales. And the vision of the organisation, very similar to the vision of the other 3 organisations today, is building a Wales where all children and young people have their rights fulfilled. So for over 30 years, Children in Wales have been promoting children's rights in Wales, and they've undertaken significant work to ensure that all children have their rights fulfilled. So just to talk you through some of the key milestones in Wales and children's rights over the years. Obviously there's been other things happening, but these are the key milestones. So in 2001, the first Children's Commissioner for Wales post was created. and that's still ongoing. So now we have a Children's Commissioner for Wales. In 2011, there was the Rights of Children and Young People's Measure. What does that mean? This is a law that means that Wales became the first country in the UK to make the UNCRC part of its laws. So this means that all ministers have to consider the UNCRC in the work that they do. In 2020, the Children Abolition of Defence of Reasonable Punishment Act came into force. This means that all physical punishment of children became banned and illegal in Wales. In 2022, we had free universal school meals for all primary age school children. And we've seen a really great positive impact of that on children and parents in Wales. And then lastly, in the last Senedd term, Children Wales have campaigned for a Minister for Children. And in 2024, in September 2024, we had a named Minister for Children and Social Care that was appointed for the first time. So these are just some of the key milestones. If you want to find out more about Children in Wales and our history, we've got a fantastic book. We celebrated our 30th anniversary last year, and this book was produced by young volunteers from Young Wales who are part of our organisation. They took lead to produce this book and highlight the key work that's taken place over the last 30 years. And there's a lot in there about the importance of children's rights and the future of children's rights as well. So you can scan this QR code to access that, and Anna's also put a link in the chat as well. So moving on to the project I work on, which is Parents Connect Wales. I'll tell you a little bit more about this. Within Children Wales, it was recognised that parents also play a really important role in promoting children's rights. And so this project came about to support the voice of parents in the promotion of children's rights. And we heard lots of parents telling us they want to have a voice, they want to be heard. And in their very own words, we've got so parents were asked, we asked them why they should have a voice, and these are some of the reasons they gave. These quotes came directly from parents in Wales. And give some really powerful reasons why they felt their voice should be included when it came to making decisions about their children. So things like, we are raising the adults of the future, we represent our children's voices, and decisions that are made can impact on the home life. And so therefore, that's why parents felt they should be involved. So in terms of the model that our project works to, this is very much it's a two-way approach, and this is the one that we're using at the moment. We use this approach to listen to parents' views and voices and respond, and also inform future policy development. So we have a parent advisory group made up of parents from the community, and we use input from this group to inform our project, steer our project. We also have representatives from the 22 local authorities in Wales, and they champion, promote and support the voices of parents in their local area. We have a Wales-wide professional forum, and we meet quarterly. This is a network of practitioners that work within parental voice and participation in Wales. And this model gives us clear lines of communication with Welsh Government, allows parents to share their views on matters that impact their children, and also for Welsh Government to use input from parents to inform their priorities. And we have been doing a lot of work recently to gather the views of parents for Welsh Government consultations. So that's the model we're working to at the moment. And just to tell you a little bit about the current issues in Wales. So again, very similar to what we're seeing in Northern Ireland, Scotland and England. We did an online poll recently asking parents about the main issues their children are dealing with in Wales. Again, very similar to what was said in the others. So mental health was the highest one. Parents are worried about their children's mental health, the use of social media, screen time, pressure, so peer pressure, pressure to fit in, bullying, again, a very common theme, and poverty and the cost of living. So these are the things that were identified by parents in Wales as key issues. In terms of family support, we created this infographic, which was as a result of a consultation we did with parents and carers, asking them what do they need support with. They told us they needed support with these different things, so parenting and family support, health and well-being, childcare, which has come up before as well, support with everything, so universal support and education. And yeah, this infographic is available on our online hub, which I'll tell you about in a bit. So lastly, we've recently done a parent poverty survey. So for 8 years, Children have carried out a child and family poverty survey, and this has been with professionals. And for the first time this year, we did a survey with parents. We received an overwhelming response of 522 parents. And it illustrated that parents really welcomed the opportunity to talk about their experiences of poverty. So the full report will be available later this year, but we thought we'd share some of the key findings with you. So the top 5 ranked poverty issues is the rising cost of living, energy costs, debt, unable to afford food, so food insecurity, and low wages. So similar to what was found in the other poverty surveys in the other nations. 94% of respondents felt parents worry about being able to afford necessities, so really, really high figure. In terms of the direct impact of poverty, there were some key themes that came out. And one of the most impactful things were direct quotes from parents, similar to the ones that were shared earlier as well. So the things that they said was family life, having to work more to make ends meet, so less time for family bonding. Working families, so it's not just low-income families, working families are also struggling. Life as a parent and sense of identity, feeling ashamed that they can't provide for their children, feeling like they failed their children, really, really sort of heartbreaking things to hear. Poverty stigma as well, feeling embarrassed because of their situation and not wanting to ask for help, and feeling like less of a mum or less of a parent. And lastly, having to make sacrifices that were sometimes unseen. So parents, the hidden poverty of parents, sort of having to go without food or clothes or simple necessities because of the situation. So I think by sharing all of these different types of findings, I hope we've given you a picture of the landscape for parents in Wales today. And one of the other key achievements of our project is we've created an online hub. So this is a website where you can see more of the work that we have done. We've aimed to make it visual and easy to read. And we've developed an online platform to support professionals and parents. It has a variety of resources and information on there. Everything I've talked about today is on there, apart from the poverty survey, which will be on there in the new year. And yeah, we'd love you to go on there and have a look and sort of use what's on there in your work. So I think it just remains to say, if you'd like to get in touch, this is our contact details. We'd love to hear from you if you feel that you can sort of work with us. And yeah, I hope that obviously, because as we can see today, lots of common themes across the 4 nations, and hopefully, more of a joined up approach to tackle some of these issues. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I'll hand back over to you, Kula.
Thank you so much, Fatah, and the work on poverty is really interesting, and look forward to seeing the report. Without further ado, if we just to say, if we don't have enough time for questions because we're getting close to our cutoff point, or when most of you, then please still put them in the chat, and we will come back to you with the answers when we forward on the information. So again, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Anna, who's going to report back on the photo competition that was launched back in September to support Parenting Week. So over to you, Anna.
Thanks, Kula. Mine should be a bit shorter, so hopefully we will have time for a couple of questions. So please,
Right.
if you have got any, pop them in the chat. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to talk to, as Kula said, a photo competition that we ran just before National Parenting Week, which is actually this week. My name is Anna Westall. I work with Fatia on the Parents Connect Wales project. So this is this photo competition was a bit more than a competition. It was actually a creative consultation approach that we've previously carried out with parents. We used an incentive to encourage parents to take part. So as you can see on this poster advert, we offered a prize of a £50 voucher, which we did randomly chose from all the entries. This was obviously used, like I said, to encourage parents to take part. But this photo consultation allows us to gather a visual understanding and insight on a specific topic. And as we mentioned, we did this photo competition in the lead up to National Parenting Week. So we focused on For Every Family, which was the theme of this year's focus. So just a few things about photo consultations. They're quite simple to do. Parents, from our point of view and from parents' point of view, they often have photos on their phones. They just have to email them in alongside a very short caption. They do really capture unique insight, and I will be sharing some photos with you shortly, and hopefully you'll agree of the insight that we do actually receive, and how a visual representation is really lovely to have. It's quite accessible, there's no language barrier, and many parents can take part. It's fun, creative and engaging. There's not a huge amount of cost. Obviously, if you do provide an incentive and a prize, there is an element of cost, but apart from that, there isn't a huge amount of cost to it. And the fantastic thing at the end is you can build and develop an exhibition, an online exhibition, or you can do it in person as well, but an exhibition of all the photos together. And the last time we carried out a photo consultation, we actually put a video story together, which is so powerful and lovely. And you can access that on our hub page, which Fatia has mentioned in her presentation. So as I said, the topic for this year was For Every Family. So we asked parents to send in photos and share with us what makes their family special, unique or different, or really just share any special moments with us. And the entries we received really did tell a story and gave us a great insight into family life. So I'm going to share with you some of the photos and some of the key themes that we identified. This first picture I've used to start off alongside the caption that these parents provided, and it really shows the exciting journey that parents go on as they become parents, and how the enjoyment of seeing their young child grow. So one of the first themes that came out was around connection. And there's a couple of pictures here, there was more, but pulled out 2 pictures that really showed that connection. There was a focus on holding children close, enjoying those special connection times, those family times, and being relaxed around each other. As you can see on both these pictures, both dads and babies are smiling very, very clearly. There was also lots and lots of photo entries taken in the outdoors. Actually, lots were on beaches as well, maybe highlighting that the importance of holidays, time away from day-to-day life. Obviously, no one directly said that, but because there were so many beach photos, we're assuming that up to a point. So linking to the previous theme of connection, you can see the caption here provided on the first photo, where a parent has said, "Our greatest connections are in the outdoors." And in the second picture, you can see on the beach, children running to their parents as well. So lots of lovely pictures of outdoors. It was a really strong theme. I think recognising, again, we have that time for connection, freedom, and a chance to sort of stand back and watch our children enjoy the freedom in that space. Another theme that came through from quite a few entries was recognising the amazing work of young carers, the amazing bond of siblings within their role as young carers. And as you can see from these 2 photos and captions, the huge amount of work and care that goes into being a young carer and the bond between siblings. So we had a number of photos which really displayed this, and families celebrating and enjoying that element of their family life as well. And then again, there was a really strong theme and pride in the differences of families and celebrating this. Families aren't all the same. We do understand they're all different, and people were sending in lots of photos wanting to highlight the differences and really celebrate them. So we had entries from single parents, large families, kinship carers, families with children with additional needs, and many more. So we had a lot of photos, all really wanting to say, this is what makes my family special and I'm proud of it. And then in this slide, you'll see the kind of importance of that wide involvement of the extended family. And again, these just demonstrate some of the photos we had in, which showed the importance of grandparents. The middle picture is 2 cousins. And then in the last picture, we've got a great grandparent, and also we've got pets. So we had quite a few pictures with pets as well. So it really sort of showed that family is wider than your immediate family, and the importance of that extended family, and people wanting to show that as what makes their family special. We also had many entries that just captured family portraits, family time together. We had kind of the more traditional family portraits, as this one is. So many people sent in photos where they were all together, and often that doesn't happen, doesn't it, in family life, in the busyness. So capturing that family photo was definitely one of the things that we had. And we also had some more natural family portraits that were sent in of people just trying to take a moment of getting everybody together. But when you've got little ones, that isn't always easy. So we had people just sharing general capturing moments of time together. And then the final theme was really everybody was embracing family life and the special moments they have together. And these are kind of 2 photos that I've just pulled out to end on. You can see they are both on the beach. As I said, we had lots, but I think maybe it's those times when we do capture those moments is when we have the time to stand back and do that, and really understand the importance and love of a family. So we had a really, really great array of photos. I know Northern Ireland also did run a photo competition as well, so hopefully we'll get a chance to see those at some point as well. But it was a great way to kind of highlight in a visual format how parents view their families, and really bring family life to life, really. So we'll be sharing all this work and putting all the photos on our hub page, which, like I said, is in the chat. But just to give you a short overview, I hope you've enjoyed seeing the photos today. Thank you.
That's great, Anna, thank you so much. And it's a lovely way to sort of end, or before the Q&A, this webinar, just to remember what this is all about. And I think, you know, one of the things that came out of the ParentKind survey was that parents particularly feel that they're time poor and they don't have enough time to do the fun things with their children. And so those photographs reminded us of the importance of making that happen. So yeah, I am mindful of the time, and I suppose there's just one question coming through from my colleague Emma, which is around hearing parents' voice in government-led consultations. And I suppose, and I see that you know, Wales have come back and saying we do it, but it's not something that's mandatory. Just to say that in Northern Ireland, we do have something that says government has to understand the impact of their decisions on certain groups of people, and one of those 9 groups are carers. So in theory, they should absolutely be reaching out to carers. And we were wondering whether the landscape has changed in England and Scotland. Like I said, we've heard a bit from Wales. So just over to Kirsty and to Amy about what it's, you know, whether there is an open door to hearing parents' voice in government consultations, and whether that's something government are actually proactive about. I don't know which one of you want to answer. Amy first?
Yeah, I'm happy to go first.
No, go ahead, Kirsty.
I think that they're being even more receptive than they ever have been. So we have regular catch-ups with government, particularly the Department for Education, and we have a really good working relationship with ministers and their team, and we do feel like we are able to put parent voice forward, and also making sure that we have done our own survey on the topic, so that we are, as I've said before, it is evidence led. So, but yeah, I feel that it's, you know, it's a good working relationship. As I said, you know, we've already had a couple of meetings in terms of the curriculum review, which is it's a big deal for parents, and you know, Ofsted, as I said, our involvement in that. Yeah, so I think it's encouraging. I do think it's encouraging, but you know, there's always more to do. There is always more to do.
Yeah, but and just just, and then Amy, I'll go over to, are you funded by government to do that piece of work, the parent voice piece? Or
No.
do you get funding independently of that?
No,
okay, that's helpful.
yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah, in Scotland, there's specific legislation relating to parental involvement within education. More broadly than that, it's more of, I guess, a culture of inclusion.
Yeah.
And yeah, broadly speaking, parents' views, I believe, are listened to in Scotland, alongside other stakeholders as well. And certainly parenting organisations have been really important in getting some of the legislation that I referred to earlier through. I don't think equal protection would have happened without the inclusion of parents and being really active in that. Yeah, but it's only in specific policy areas where there's actual legislation that backs up the importance of including parents.
That's really helpful. Fataha or Anna, do either of you want to say anything about Wales? No? Oh, Anna, hi.
I think the reason that Welsh Government are funding Parents Connect Wales is really to support that opportunity to allow parents to be consulted with. So one of the reasons that we are who we are is so that can happen. So it's a key kind of consideration of the funding for our project. So we're hoping, you know, we're allowing that opportunity to really feed parents' voices into consultation. So the funding for our project allows for that to happen.
So there's a mixed picture across the UK, which is interesting. Okay, so I can't see any other questions coming in. So I just want to say thank you again to all of you for your patience with us, with our blip. I was going to say wee blip, but it wasn't. It was a medium-sized blip. But I hope you found it was worthwhile. I hope you've seen the breadth of work that's going on with parents, and how it's rooted in the rights of children. And I know, speaking on behalf of Emma and Parenting Focus more generally, that we're really excited to be working with colleagues across the 4 nations and also across the border in the Republic of Ireland, you know, for joint campaigning, but also around learning from each other, because I think I've learned a lot just in this hour and a quarter. So thank you so much, everybody. We'll be in touch with all the information you've heard today, copies of the slides and so on. And like I said, thank you for your patience and enjoy the rest of your day, and happy Parenting Week. And I hope you've got lots of events to celebrate your families and your parents and your carers. Thank you so much.